guys, it's Sarah. I know what you're thinking. It's very, very early in the month and I already have a book haul. Okay. I filmed my February book haul, and then since then, I've had a ton of books sent to me. I had a situation where one day in the mail, I got 5 review books in the mail in one day. I was like, what is happening? Some of them were books I agreed to and I knew were going to be coming at some point. Some of them were unsolicited, so I was shocked that I got them. And yeah. And then I bought a little bit myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have 2 book hauls in March probably. I'll just do one in the beginning and then I'll do one in the end. So there's going to be 2 book hauls this month. This is what has come since probably the 3rd week in February up until the beginning of March. And then my next book haul I'll have towards the end of March, and it will be whatever comes within the actual month of March. But it's like they are starting to pile up. I'm just going to go ahead because I'm going to be reading some of these soon. All right, so I will start with the books that were sent to me. This one was actually sent to me from a friend of mine, and she had featured it on her Instagram. And when I saw it, I was like, I'm going to need to read that. Like, I think I want to get my hands on that one. And she said, my friend wrote this. So this is written by a friend of a friend. She said, she wrote this. Let me see if she doesn't need it back. I'll send it to you. And then the author got on and said, absolutely, like send it. You know, you're more than welcome to have it. And I was like, sweet. So this is called Trailer Trash, an 80s memoir by Angie Cavallari. And I was like, I literally just saw the title and I was like, I'm in. I want this. So this is Angie's memoir about growing up in a trailer park in Florida. And I don't know anything else about it, and I don't really want to. I think it sounds like it's going to be fun, and she's a friend of a friend, so that's kind of cool too. It's a very short memoir as well, so this is definitely something I can read through pretty quickly, but I do plan to do that hopefully soon. If not, if anything happens, maybe I could do it for Nonfiction November since it is a memoir type thing. We'll see, but I'm excited to read it. All right, this next one was sent to me from Vintage Books. This was unsolicited. I've never heard of this book or anything. It was just sent my way. That is The Girl Who Never Read Noam Chomsky, and this is by Jana Casal. And I believe this is her debut book, so this is the first one by her. And I've never heard of it. So this, I believe, is a contemporary book. It follows a woman named Lita, and she spots a boy reading at a local coffee shop. She's sitting right next to him and decides that she wants to read Noam Chomsky. I'm guessing maybe he's reading Noam Chomsky. So she goes to a bookstore, buys a book by Noam Chomsky, and then she never reads it. And then it says, as the days, years, and decades unfold, we see all that she does instead of read Noam Chomsky. So I guess you're following Lita through her life. Like, she makes this decision and then never follows through on it, but she's living her life, and you follow her through the decades and becoming, like, you know, a wife and a mother and a grandmother and all that stuff. Yeah, so I don't know how all that ties together. Like, is she regretting not reading Noam Chomsky? Who's Noam Chomsky? I'm guessing an author. Like, I need to figure that out maybe. Like, has this person read anything that I know? But this does come out on March 19th. And I don't know. I've never heard of it. Maybe I'll wait a little bit and see what the reviews are of it, see what people are thinking. But I'll definitely hang on to it and see maybe if it's something that I want to end up picking up. But yeah, so it's available on March 19th. And this next one, the publisher contacted me and asked if I would be interested in reading this book. And I said yes, because I thought it sounded very interesting. This was sent to me from Atria Books, and this is called This Is Home by Lisa Duffy. Now, this is a domestic book, and I believe it's like a drama, and it follows a girl, and her name is Libby, and she lives in the middle of a 3-rise home that has kind of been converted into apartments. She lives in the middle section with her dad, and her sisters, I believe, live on the upper floor, and then down below are strangers. And it's actually I think it is a wounded vet and his wife, and you see them kind of living their lives all kind of cohabitating in this one household, but they're still kind of separated because they're in separate apartments. But I think it becomes kind of a very interesting family type of dynamic from all these different people. And it sounded really interesting when I read the synopsis. I'm probably really going to be able to relate to the military couple because my husband is not a wounded vet, but my husband is active duty military. So I definitely understand that lifestyle. And so I was definitely interested in it. This comes out June 11th. So a while still. I will read it more towards the release date. But if you're a fan of Lisa Duffy and you've read her stuff before, I've heard good things. So I'm excited about it. This next one I was contacted about as well, and I jumped on it because it sounds so interesting to me. This one does not come out until May 28th, so a little bit still. But that is How Not to Die Alone by Richard Roper. And this was sent to me by Putnam. And this guy has a very, very interesting job. His job is to find the next of kin for people who have been buried alone. So, like they're buried, but nobody was at their funeral or nobody was there to witness it and nobody was there to claim, like no family members, no friends, no nothing. So he is trying to track down the next of kin for these people so that they know that, hey, someone in your family has died. And you should probably know about it because apparently you didn't because you weren't there type thing. And I think it's going to be him exploring these people and what happened with these relationships, why they weren't there, and all that stuff. So I thought it sounded very, very interesting. I also am in love with this cover. I think it's gorgeous. So I'm really excited to read this. But again, this comes out May 28th. All right, this next one comes out March 19th. And I did sign up to be on kind of like a part of the review team for this one, but I didn't think I got it because I never got contacted. But then I got it in the mail and I was like, yay. So I don't think there's like not an assigned date or anything, but it does come out March 19th. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to it in the month of March, to be honest, with everything else I have going on, but it is something I want to get to soon. And that is The Last Year of the War by Susan Meisner. Susan Meisner also wrote As Bright as Heaven, which I have for review that came out in paperback in January, and I haven't read it yet. But I'm very, very interested in reading her books because she does write historical fiction. I've heard amazing things about her writing, and this is going to be her newest one. Okay, so this book follows a young girl named Elise and her family. Her father has been a legal citizen of the U.S. for over 20 years. However, when World War II happens and you're kind of in the midst of it, they are living in Iowa. The father is arrested for being a Nazi sympathizer or under suspicion of being a Nazi sympathizer. So they arrest him, take the family, and move them to a internment camp in Texas, which was a big thing back then that was happening during the war. So they're basically kind of being treated like they're traitors. And it's not good situations. Elise ends up meeting another young girl named Mariko, and her family is Japanese American, and they're under the same suspicions. And I believe this must have been more towards the Pearl Harbor type of timeline because, if they're arresting a Japanese American family as well, that's when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and anyone who was Japanese living in the United States was being looked at under suspicion. So you see Elise and Mariko form this friendship, and then something happens to one of them and they're having to deal with a whole nother situation. This sounds so incredibly amazing. I'm really excited about it, and I'm so grateful. So thank you so much to Berkeley Books for sending this to me. And I can't wait, but this does come out on March 19th. This next one, I was also contacted about, but I got it very, very late. And so I'm not going to be able to read it before the release date because the release date is March 5th. So there is that. That is The Wolf and the Watchman. This is by Nicholas Nat Ochdog. Look at that. 4 names right there. Okay, so this is a European author. This is what I believe is in the genre of a Nordic noir, from what I'm understanding, and that's kind of like a European thriller type of book, kind of like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo or Joe Nesbo's books, like The Bat and the Snowman and all that stuff. Those are kind of like Nordic noir, like European thriller type books. And I've really been wanting something like that lately. And so when I got contacted about this, I was like, are you reading my mind? Because I've literally been thinking I would love to read something from a European author that is like a thriller set over in another country. And they literally like said, hey, you want this? And I was like, yeah, I do. So even though I'm not gonna be able to read it before the release date, it is coming. It is supposed to be something that's very good. I love the cover of it. I love the cover so much. I don't want to go into it knowing anything though. I want it to be a complete surprise. So I'm not gonna go into the synopsis or anything. But I'm very, very excited to read this one. So March 5th, if you're interested in something like that, it will be available then. And the next one that was sent to me was one that I actually signed up for. It was like a Facebook promotion type thing, and you could sign up to get an ARC. And so I did. And that is The Guest Book. And this is by Sarah Blake. And this is supposed to be a mystery thriller, maybe like a psychological thriller type thing. This comes out again in May. So I have some time to read this one, but I have already tabbed it up. So I'm ready to... I've sectioned it off so when I pick it up, I'm ready to go. This is a little bit of a longer one. This is a pretty chunky book, but I am definitely excited to read it. And since it is a thriller, I didn't look too much into it, but it looked interesting enough that I went ahead and signed up to get an early copy. All right, so those are all the books that were sent to me. So let me go into the books that I have purchased. There are 6 of them. It just happened. I went to Goodwill like yesterday. And I went because I had a really bad week, you guys. I had a really bad week. It was just, everything was chaos. Everything was just insane. I was stressed out a lot. I got sick. I got really, really sick. Just all sorts of things were happening. And I did not handle myself very well. It was not a good look on me. But as soon as I started feeling a little bit better, I was like, I'm going to go buy some books. So I did. But I only bought 3 at Goodwill, so it wasn't too bad. I didn't go overboard. First one is A Stranger in the House by Sherry LaPena. I have not read anything by Sherry LaPena yet, and I really, really want to. I have one of her books on my Kindle. I think it's The Couple Next Door. And then there's this one, and I believe there is a newer one that she has released as well. Called An Unwanted Guest. And I've just heard really good things about her books, and they're actually pretty short. They're short thrillers. So I went ahead and picked it up at Goodwill. Another one that I picked up is by Diane Chamberlain, and this is called Pretending to Dance. And this one, it seems like it's a little bit of a mystery. It follows a woman who is married, and she has kept something about her childhood a secret. However, that secret is in danger of coming out, and she's trying to keep it down because it could ruin her life, ruin her marriage, all that good stuff. That's kind of all I really got from the synopsis. But Diane Chamberlain is definitely an author I want to read more from. And the other one that I picked up at Goodwill is The Other Woman, and this is by Sandy Jones. This is about a woman who falls in love with a man, and they get engaged, I believe, so they're getting married. However, she's having to deal with another woman, and that other woman is this guy's mother. And she's crazy, and she does not want anybody for her son at all. I've heard good things about it. Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library read this and enjoyed it. She definitely said it wasn't the best book she's ever read, but she said it was worth reading. So I was like, well, for $3, I'll grab it. You know what I mean? So I did. All right, so the next 3 books that I got at a used bookstore in Tallahassee. I went on a weekend trip with my mom and my sister and my niece and my younger daughter, Layla. We all went to my niece's twirling competition. She's a baton twirler, and there was a competition in Tallahassee, so we went and spent the weekend there. And we went and had lunch one day, and actually right next door to the pizza place that we went to, there was a used bookstore. And somehow I magnetically just went to the bookstore. I was like, this is happening, guys. Just follow me. Everything's fine. And we all ended up getting books. So I picked up 3 books there. I was really excited. And I'm glad we were on a time limit because I could have spent hours in that store. There were so many books. It was amazing. So I picked up 3 that really stood out to me. The first one is one that is by Susanna Kearsley, who is an author that I would like to get into. I've heard very good things about her books, and I think that based on what I've heard, I think I would enjoy them. This one is called Season of Storms, And this is actually called A Modern Gothic Masterpiece. So I think this is going to have a little bit of a Gothic feel to it, but it is also a historical type of book. And I've just heard really good things about her, so I'm excited to give her a try. Another one that I picked up, I was really excited to see, and that is What She Left Behind. This is by Ellen Marie Wiseman, who also wrote The Life She Was Given, which was one of my favorite books of last year. I still think about that book. I really still think about that book, you guys. I loved it so much. And I'm excited to read this one. This one follows a woman who I believe is admitted to an insane asylum. And you follow that storyline. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know anything else. Again, Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library, loved this book. And I definitely want to read more from this author for sure. So I went ahead and grabbed it. And the last one that I found, the entire reason I even went into the bookstore, because it was sitting in the window, I literally walked in and I grabbed it from the window. Like, this is mine now. I think a lot of you guys will be happy about this one, because I picked up The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Now, if you just watched my February wrap up, you will know that I read Sally Thorne's second book, 99% Mine, and I did not like it at all. I gave it 2 stars. But everybody has told me, who cares? Read this, basically, because this is so many people's favorite contemporary. So many people, and they absolutely love it. And I knew I wanted to read it regardless, because I've heard so many good things about this book. So I knew I was going to pick it up eventually anyway. And since I saw it, at a used bookstore, I went ahead and grabbed it. And this has a hate to love trope, which I love. I love hate to love stories, and I want to read more of those. I've read a few, but I really want to read more of them. So I think this is going to be a good one to do that with. But I do have it. I do plan to read it sometime this year. I'm going to put it on my TBR cart. And yeah, so I picked it up. Okay, guys, so that is the first part of my March book haul, and I will have another one more towards the end of the month, because I believe I do still have some review books coming, and I may get some by surprise. You never know. That's been a big thing happening lately. I've been completely shocked with all of the review books I've been getting, which has been amazing. I don't know if I'll go book shopping again. I might not. We'll have to see how it all goes. But let me know down below if you guys have read any of the books that I just talked about. Let me know if there are any coming out soon that you're excited about, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.